Kancana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sagrama Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpatarorvyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namaste Vyasa Vishana Buddhe Fullaravindayatapatra netre Yena Dvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parichataya Totra Vaitraika Bhaneye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namah. So we are studying chapter 13, Nature in Joy and Consciousness. Correct? That's what we are discussing. We did till verse number 22 in the last class. So verse number 23, Krishna is describing the subject matter of Prakriti and Purusha. So he said that the living entity thinks of himself as the Purusha, but actually he is not the real Purusha. There's another Purusha who is the Supreme Purusha, who is beyond everything else. So that is explained in next verse, verse number 23. It talks about Paramatma. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushaha paraha. Yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the Super Soul. So that's Paramatma. It's known as the Super Soul, right? Purport. It is stated here that the Super Soul, who is always with the individual soul, is the representation of the Supreme Lord. He is not an ordinary living entity because the monist philosophers take the knower of the body to be one. They think that there is no difference between the supersoul and the individual soul. To clarify this, the Lord says that he is represented as a Paramatma in every body. He is different from the individual soul. He is para. Para means beyond, transcendental. The individual soul enjoys the activities of a particular field, but the super soul is present not as finite enjoyer, nor as one taking part in bodily activities, but as the witness, overseer, permitter, and supreme enjoyer. His name is Paramatma, not Atma, and he is transcendental. It is distinctly clear that the Atma and Paramatma are different. The super soul, the Paramatma, has legs and hands everywhere, but the individual soul does not, cannot, right? It cannot. And because the Paramatma is the Supreme Lord, he is present within to sanction the individual soul's desiring material enjoyment. Without the sanction of the Super Soul or the Supreme Soul, the individual cannot do anything. The individual is Bhokta or the sustained, and the Lord is Bhokta or the maintainer. They're innumerable living entities, and he's staying in them as a friend. The fact is that every individual living entity is eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and both of them are very intimately related as friends. But the living entity has the tendency to reject the sanction of the Supreme Lord and act independently in an attempt to dominate nature. And because he has this tendency, he is called the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. The living entity can be situated either in the material energy or in the spiritual energy. As long as he is conditioned by the material energy, the Supreme Lord, as his friend, the Super Soul, stays with him just to get him to return to the spiritual energy. The Lord is always eager to take him, but take him back to the spiritual energy, but due to his minor independence, the individual living entity is continually rejecting the association of spiritual light. This misuse of independence is the cause of his material strife in the conditioned nature. The Lord, therefore, is always giving instructions from within and from without. From without, he gives instruction as stated in Bhagavad-Gita, and from within, he tries to convince the living entity that his activities in the material field are not conducive to real happiness. Just give it up and turn your faith toward me. Then you will be happy. He says, thus the intelligent person who places his faith in the Paramatma or the Supreme Personality of Godhead begins to advance toward a blissful eternal life of knowledge. Hmm. So Paramatma does all this. He's, he's observing, giving permission, right? He's an enjoyer, master, 8 qualities of the Paramatma are mentioned here. All right. So uh, let's try to understand now something little practical. Um, so one who understands this, let's go to next verse, then we'll look at that slide. To verse 24. Ya, ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunai saha sarvata vartamanopi nasa bhuyo vijayate. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. So, if one understands all this knowledge as given here, then Krishna is promising that that person will not take birth again. If one understands this knowledge. Yes, let's read Sharda Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Clear understanding of material nature, the supersoul, the individual soul, and their interrelation makes one eligible to become liberated and turn to the spiritual atmosphere without being forced to return to this material nature. This is the result of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is to understand distinctly that the living entity has by chance fallen into this material existence. By his personal endeavor, in association with authorities, saintly persons, and a spiritual master, he has to understand his position and then revert to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness by understanding Bhagavad Gita as it is explained by the personality of Godhead. Then it is certain that he will never come again into this material existence. He will be transferred into the spiritual world for a blissful eternal life of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so let's look at this slide now. We have an exercise for you to do. Okay, go ahead. So you can read this and then give the answer. If before you give the answer, kindly raise your hand. So first read the situation, what is explained here. Yeah, okay. So the murder was executed using a gun. Two bullets. Robin shot. Samir assisted. Manish was killed. Who is the cause of the murder here? So Srinivas Acharya Prabhu says Robin.
Manish was killed.
Who is the
Correct.
cause of the murder? Question is very simple. Who or what is the cause of the murder?
Prabhuji, I speak or I have written in chat. I can't raise hand.
Write in the chat box.
I wrote.
You wrote already? Manish.
Yeah.
Manish is the cause. Okay. So someone says Robin, someone says Manish. And then Shahana Matade says Robin, Samir, gun and bullets. Okay. And what else? That's all? Robin and Samir. Please mute yourself. So, okay, so now you have understood it, but you have not really understood it then. Because we have understood that there are many causes. So the answer is technically different from what you are saying. Gun is the cause, Samir is the cause, Robin's hand is also the cause. Bullets are the cause. Manish is also the cause. Robin is definitely the cause. And Super Soul is also the cause. So none of these here in mentioned go as unchecked. All of them are the causes. All of them are the causes. How? Super Soul or Paramatma is the remote cause. Remote cause means he's not responsible, but he is involved, no? He's Anumanta. If it doesn't give permission, how will it happen? So he is the remote cause, Anumanta. Then who executed it? Robin executed with Samir's help. So these two are efficient cause. Efficient means one who did, who has done. That's called efficient. So both are uh, involved and both will be punished. Robin and Samir both. Then Manish, is he the cause? Yes, he is also the cause. Why is the cause? Because if Manish did not exist, will this murder happen? So technically, is called the causal cause. The causal means the you know original. If he would not exist, nothing would happen. And then the gun, the bullets, Robin's hand, Samir's planning, they are called material cause. Material cause means instruments. Gun is used, hand is used, bullets are used, planning is used. So this is how we understand this subject matter. So this verse said that if you understand how these things function, you become free from cycle of birth or death. Because none of you could answer, that means you're not free from the cycle of birth and death. Right? This verse says if you understand how these things function, then you're free from the cycle of birth and death. So these all are the causes. Okay. Next verse. Verse number 25.
How super soul is the cause?
We already explained remote cause. Anumanta. If it doesn't give
No,
permission,
why super soul will give permission for murder?
then who will give permission? You will give? How does the whole world function?
No, that is our minute.
How does the whole world function? It functions under the control of Krishna, no? So if super
Yes,
soul
but
does
we
not
use.
permit, super soul will not permit, then how will that thing happen? It will not happen.
Then why we say we are independent?
You are independent. That doesn't mean that you are completely independent. You can do anything you like. If you are completely independent, that means then you are out of control of Krishna. Is that possible?
Minute independence we have, and we are
Even that
misusing it.
minute independence is within the control of Krishna, no? That minute independence is also within the control. Otherwise, let's say if you think uh, murdering someone, you don't need the permission of Paramatma, when can you murder anyone and everyone? Even if you try, will it happen? If let's say someone is trying to murder someone, is it necessarily true that the murder will happen only? So there has to be someone who will allow it, right? Someone who will sanction it, give permission. Yes, you're trying for this murder, let it happen. So that has to be given by the super soul, and super soul will not give it with closed eyes. There has to be some karmic connection also. So that will happen. That's why someone is uh, attempting to murder someone. If the super soul doesn't allow, it doesn't happen. Even if that person tries hundreds of times. But if someone is attempting to murder someone and that's written in that person's karma and the super soul allows, then it happens. So he's Anumanta, his permission giver. Hmm? Okay.
Then why it happens?
Huh?
Why suicide happens if someone has to
Suicide
die?
also,
Then
suicide is also somewhat, it has got connection to your karma. Not everyone in this world is thinking of committing suicide. So even the astrological chart shows if someone is thinking of suicide, then the chart also shows that this person will get such thoughts. So there's a lot connected to our past lives, our karma. Right.
then
Okay, now I
then
will
we
go to the
should.
next topic. This thing will not end. You
Okay.
should take some time to think about it. Then you'll understand. Mm. Take out some time to think about philosophical concepts. It's not always easily comprehensible. Think about it and think from both all the angles. Don't just think from one angle. Then it will make all sense. Okay. Go to the next verse. ध्याने ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिद् आत्मानमात्मना अन्यसाङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे. Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working with fruitive desires. So different people are able to see the super soul in different manner. Let's read the purport. Sanjay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. The Lord informs Arjuna that the conditioned souls can be divided into two classes as far as men's search for self-realization is concerned. Those who are atheists, agnostics, and skeptics are beyond the sense of spiritual understanding. But there are others who are faithful in their understanding of spiritual life, and they are called introspective devotees, philosophers, and workers who have renounced fruitive results. Those who always try to establish the doctrine of monism are also counted among the atheists and agnostics. In other words, only the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are situated in spiritual understanding because they understand that beyond this material nature are the spiritual world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is expanded as the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone, the all pervading Godhead. Of course, there are those who try to understand the supreme absolute truth by cultivation of knowledge, and they can be counted in the class of the faithful. The Sankhya philosophers analyze this material world into 24 elements, and they place the individual soul as the 25th item. When they are able to understand the nature of the individual soul to be transcendental to the material elements, they are able to understand also that above the individual soul, there is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the 26th element. Those, thus, gradually, they also come to the standard of devotional service and Krishna consciousness. Those who work without fruitive results are also perfect in their attitude. They are given a chance to advance to the platform of devotional service and Krishna consciousness. Here it is stated that there are some people who are pure in consciousness and who try to find out the super soul by meditation. And when they discover the super soul within themselves, they become transcendentally situated. Similarly, there are others who also try to understand the super soul by cultivation of knowledge. And there are others who cultivate the Hatha Yoga system, and those try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by childish activities. Hare Krishna.
It is hata, not hat. If
Hatha.
there is a if there is a dot below T, then you don't say it as the, then it is tha. TH makes it tha. So
Hatha.
it is called Hat Yoga system.
Hatha. Okay, Prabhuji.
Next verse. Anye tvemam janantah Shrutvān yebhya upasate tepi chati tarantyeva mrityum shruti parayanaha. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. So this, the previous verse spoke about Karma Yogi, Gyan Yogi, Ashtang Yogi, and all that. Now this verse talks very much about us, this is our category, where we don't really know much and we get all the knowledge just by hearing from the right source, right? So there are these, and because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So that is the potency of Shavanam from the right source. By doing that, one can transcend birth and death. It's possible. So this process of hearing is very nice. Okay, Sangarshan Vishnu Prabhuji, please read the purport.
This verse is particularly applicable to modern society because in modern society there is practically no education in spiritual matters. Some of the people may appear to be atheistic or agnostic or philosophical, but actually there is no knowledge of philosophy. As for the common man, if he is a good soul, then there is a chance of advancement by hearing. This hearing process is very important. Lord Chaitanya, who preached Krishna consciousness in the modern world, gave great stress to hearing because if the common man simply hears from the authoritative sources, he can progress, especially according to Lord Chaitanya. If he hears the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is stated, therefore, that all men should take advantage of hearing from realized souls and gradually become able to understand everything. This worship of the Supreme Lord will then undoubtedly take place. Lord Chaitanya has said that in this age, no one needs to change his position, but one should give up the endeavor to understand the absolute truth by speculative reasoning. One should learn to become the servant of those who are in knowledge of the Supreme Lord. If one is fortunate enough to take shelter of a pure devotee, hear from him about self-realization and follow in his footsteps, he will be gradually elevated to the position of a pure devotee. In this verse particularly, the process of hearing is strongly recommended, and this is very appropriate. Although the common man is often not as capable as so-called philosophers, faithful hearing from the authoritative person will help one to transcend this material existence and go back to Godhead, back to home.
यावत् संजायते किंचित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमं क्षेत्र-क्षेत्रज्ञ-संयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. So from this verse 27 to the last verse of this chapter, Lord Krishna is talking about Jnana Chakshuhu, which means having attained this knowledge given in chapter 3, how does someone uh, who is on the path of Jnana Yoga, or anyone who is enlightened in this manner, uh, sees the world around, sees everything happening around. So this is also called seeing through the eyes of knowledge. Chanakya Pandit says, one who sees through these eyes which we have is an animal, not a human. Quite an interesting statement. One who just sees with the eyes we have, that is an animal, not a human. A human sees through the eyes of Gyan. or knowledge. So not just what we actually see, which means they go beyond the external. Let's read the purport. So, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Both material nature and the living entity, which were existing before the creation of the cosmos, are explained in this verse. Whatever is created is but a combination of the living entity and material nature. There are many manifestations like trees, mountains, and hills, but are not moving. And there are many existences which are moving, and all of them are but combination of material nature and the superior nature, the living entity. Without the touch of the superior nature, the living entity, nothing can grow. The relationship between matter and nature is eternally going on, and this combination is effected by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the controller of both the superior and inferior natures. The material nature is created by him, and the superior nature is placed in this material nature, and thus all these activities and manifestations take place. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. So this is how it happens. Okay.
Prabhuji, it means that material nature is a bigger circle and this superior nature is a smaller circle within that.
There's nothing like that. Bigger circle or smaller circle. Nothing like that. They are both together. Of course, if you want to see it in this way, that within the Prakriti, the Jiva is present. So you will say the Jiva is in the smaller circle and the Prakriti is the bigger circle. In that way, maybe yes, that's how you can understand. But they both work with each other, interrelated very much. But it is true that the Jiva is put in the material nature. So in that way, maybe the way you are explaining is fine. All right, let's go to next verse. Verse number 28. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyat swavinashyantam yah pashyati sapashyati. One who sees the supersoul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the supersoul uh, within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. So one is able to see the immortality of both the soul and the supersoul. Is actually seeing. Is actually seeing. Okay, let's read. Priyanka Madhuri.
Hare Krishna. Anyone who by good association can see three things combined together, the body, the proprietor of the body or the individual soul, and the friend of the individual soul, is actually in knowledge. Unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. One who do not have such association are ignorant. They simply see the body and they think that when the body is destroyed, everything is finished. But actually, it is not so. After the destruction of the body, both the soul and the supersoul exist, and they go on eternally in many various moving and non-moving forms. The Sanskrit word Parmeshwara is sometimes translated as the individual soul, because the soul is the master of the body, and after the destruction of the body, he transferred to another form. In that way, he is the master. But there are others who interpret this Parmeshwara to be the supersoul. In either case, both the supersoul and individual souls continue. They are not destroyed. One who can see
in this way can actually see what is happening. Hare Krishna.
Yes, can actually see what is happening. So the same knowledge which was given in chapter 2 is being told here, that this knowledge should help us see the world in the right way. Sapashyati, yapashyati, sapashyati. Mhm. So we should try to see in that way. Next, 29, very important verse. Samam pashyam hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahinasti atmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every um, living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches the transcendental destination. So, it is mentioned if one is able to see the super soul everywhere, as is explained in the previous verses, then that person does not degrade himself. Very interesting. That knowledge helps that person not to become degraded in life. Let's read the purport, and then he approaches the transcendental destination. Tulasi Mataji, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Pranam. The living entity, by accepting his material existence, has become situated differently than in his spiritual existence. But if one understands that the Supreme is situated in his Paramatma manifestation everywhere, that is, if one can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living being, he does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances in the spiritual world. The mind is generally addicted to sense gratifying processes, but when the mind turns to the supersoul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, we need some reflections from you. Please share how is that this knowledge helps one to not degrade oneself. Even as this knowledge that the super soul is everywhere, how does this knowledge help us to not become degraded in life?
Prabhu, could I speak something?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I mean, if we understand that, maybe like, I mean, when we interact with other human beings and then we don't get agitated by their behavior or thing because we understand
Just
that
not just that you become agitated by their behavior, also that you don't unnecessarily put others in trouble. You know,
yeah,
so it is both ways, and that's more
okay.
important than not getting agitated.
Mm,
What is more
mm,
important is that understanding that super soul is everywhere. We should not put any living entity, what to speak of humans, even other living entities, in any kind of pain, um, or any kind of problem, difficulty because of us. So that is very important. Then we are seeing, no, that the super soul is present there, so I should be more cautious in dealing with people or even dealing with other living entities. So
okay.
that's very important. When we don't see it in this way, then we see how does it matter? After all, they're just people. But they are not just people. Super soul is also sitting there. So this knowledge helps us to behave properly, at least not be damaging to anyone in any way. Mm. So that understanding comes. And this is also mentioned in Ishopanishad. Seeing God everywhere means you then behave also properly with everything and everyone, because the Lord is present there. So how can I improperly behave? Right? Like I'll give you a very simple example. In India, people throw trash anywhere and everywhere, right? They have this tendency. Anywhere they'll throw trash. So what is the vision? What is the conception? Do they see earth as their home? No. If they would, then how will they throw trash here and there? Mm. So the idea is very different, no? Means the way of looking at stuff is very different. Or if they see that everything is Krishna's property, so how can I litter garbage everywhere? I should not, isn't it? So in India, people will try to keep their home from inside very neat and clean, but from outside doesn't matter. From inside, it should be very nice. From outside, how it should be doesn't matter. So because that perception is not there, oh, it is Krishna's land or it is Bhagavan's properties. So in this way, many other things we tend to see in a wrong manner. But this knowledge will help us be more careful in dealing. Next verse. Prakrityeva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha. Yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. So the self does nothing, that person actually sees. So we have understood what does it mean that the self does nothing. It doesn't mean that actually the self does nothing. It means that a person who is situated in knowledge can see like that. An ignorant person cannot see like that. But the person who is knowledgeable will see like that. So it's the matter of perception. Subjective reality and objective reality. Remember last time? So
But
it is subjective experience that I'm not doing anything. All right.
actually, we can say that we are the initiator.
Yeah, you can say like that, but it's not about what you want to say. It's about how you see. So one who's in knowledge will also not see oneself as the initiator. He'll say that the three modes are initiating it, not me.
Car example doesn't fit here. Car example doesn't fit here.
Which car example?
Which you gave me a card.
That example I did not give for this verse. Now, why you are bringing that example here?
I was saying
That is for us to explain how the Prakriti and living entity they function with each other.
so
That is explain that.
it is not, that example was not for the uniform applicability.
No example is for universal application.
It's only specific here.
Yeah, any example is given in Shastra also, then you have to apply that example in a particular context. You can't apply it everywhere.
Okay, bro. Hare Krishna.
Because examples are given to explain a concept. No, we should know. It's called Upama, which means it is given to explain a concept. That example is not itself a truth. So you have to apply the example in the right place and in the right manner. Can't apply any example anywhere. Yes, Vardhani Mataji, please read. Vardhani Mataji.
If Mataji is busy, can I read?
Hare
She's not
Krishna
because
Prabhuji.
she's reading.
This body is made by material nature under the direction of the super soul, and whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. The self, however, is outside all these bodily activities. This body is given according to one's past desires. To fulfill desires, one is given the body with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. This transcendental vision of the living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. One who has such a vision is an actual seer. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hmm. So when we should know here that when it's mentioned that the living entity does not do, this doesn't apply to one who is conditioned. Because when one is conditioned, one actually thinks I'm doing. And because he thinks like that or she thinks like that, so then he gets the accountability or responsibility of the action on his head. But a person who is liberated doesn't think that I am the doer. And because of not thinking oneself as the doer, he or she becomes free from the action. So this is the mystery, very interesting mystery. If you get involved, you get bound. If you don't get involved, you don't get bound. It's just like when two people are fighting, then if you get involved, then you may also get some punches and kicks, isn't it? But if you stay aloof and observe, then you have not hit by anyone. Similarly, when the jiva observes, okay, Prakriti is doing everything, I'm aloof, and no involvement, no reaction. But as soon as the jiva thinks, let me get involved, then okay, now you're also welcome, bound, isn't it? So this is called detachment. Detachment means to not get involved. That's all detachment means. Cultivating detachment means to not get involved. And if you get involved, then you are affected. Mm.
Not to get involved means
Right? The more
uh,
not poke your nose into someone else's business. That's called not getting involved. So detachment also means that. And why should I unnecessarily get myself into things which is not my business or not helpful for me? So when you become super involved, then you become super attached. When you become super attached, then you become supremely affected by everything that happens. If you're not involved, that means you remain detached, then you don't become affected. Right? So those who are in knowledge, they know the science of doing that. But those who don't have that knowledge, then they see that they think that the external experience is everything. The physical experience or the mental experience, that's everything. But those who are in knowledge, they know that this experience is only superfluous. It's not permanent, it's temporary, passing experience.
Prabhuji, how not to get involved. If you talk with someone and you are attached, so something might hurt you also. So how
So
should
that's
we
what
deal?
this thing, how this will not get into our head very easily. So for that, there is no simple answer. Practice Krishna consciousness. Over the years, you will understand the how also. Immediately, you will not understand.
Krishna conscious
So,
means we will get
huh? You don't
Krishna
know what is
conscious.
Krishna consciousness?
No, yeah, I don't know what is Krishna. Means I mean to say, Krishna conscious we practice. Does it means we if we involved we won't be affected?
Not be affected. Do you think Prabhupada was doing so much he was affected?
He was a very high consciousness.
So by practicing Krishna consciousness, we also have to come to that high consciousness. If we don't come to that high consciousness, then we will also get affected.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Prabhu, just one thing. I mean, by developing the attitude to witness everything, then that's how we develop that. I mean, just a witnessing attitude, or I mean,
Here, what is being mentioned is, see, it's not something which you follow some tips and you get it. You come to that consciousness by following a path. So, what is that path? We are studying different paths in Bhagavad-Gita. Path of
yes,
Nishkam Karma Yoga, path of Jnana Yoga, path of Bhakti Yoga. So, you follow the path nicely, you'll come to that consciousness someday.
okay,
There's no trick here. Okay, I apply this trick and I'll come to this kind of consciousness. You follow the path, then your consciousness get evolved. So then you come to that state of consciousness someday.
okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
You know, right? It's not immediately, because your questions are not wrong, but I'm just trying to explain to you the way things function in spiritual life are very different from the way things function in material life. In material life, everything can be broken down into simple mechanistic steps, correct? Like, for example, you buy some product from Amazon and that product has come to your house in a disassembled manner. You know, disassembled means things are all separate. Then they give you a manual and then they show you steps with images that you can assemble it following these steps. So what is this called? This is called mechanistic breakdown of the problem or the solution. But this is not how spiritual life works. You cannot mechanistically break down stuff in spiritual life. Why? Because in spiritual life, very subtle elements are involved. Like, to give you an example, if a product has come in a disassembled manner, if I have to assemble it properly, do I need to be a good person to assemble it properly? Is it required? No. I may have a very bad character, I may be a criminal. Still, I'll be able to assemble it, no? Correct? Why? Because the subtle element of character is not involved in it. Correct? But when it comes to spiritual life, though there are steps, but those steps, they have so much of subtle involvement. Your mind, mental involvement, your intelligence, your consciousness. So we cannot break it down into mechanistic steps. Therefore, the how here is not very simple, like material things, how you do it. Right? It's not that way. DIY, they say, right? DIY store, do it yourself store. You go there and you buy something and do it yourself. So this is not how it is in spiritual life. Therefore, you have to follow the process, and if you have followed the process nicely, then you'll get this as a result. If you don't follow the process nicely, then you're not going to get it ever. It's not going to come. So then you check, am I getting there? If the answer is yes, you're following the process nicely. I'm getting there? No. So there's something wrong in the way I follow the process. Now, what is that wrong? How can I tell or someone else tell? That only you will be able to know, because you are doing it wrong, right? So someone who is closely observing you can tell you. Who is that person who is closely observing us? First is Super Soul. He's sitting in our heart and is observing us. So he can tell, where are you going wrong? Or let's say you have a spiritual master who is very, very potent and pure. So he can see through you and tell you, okay, this is what you're doing wrong. Or you are always living in constant monitoring under a guru, someone superior is observing you, how you're doing stuff. Are you doing it rightly or wrongly? Then he or she can tell this is where you're getting wrong. Right? So this bhakti which we do at home, I'm sorry to say this has a lot of risk. Why it is risky?
Even the
Because
chanting,
there's no one there to tell you where you are getting wrong. Who will tell? No one will tell, na? Who will tell? Because no one is observing us. We are doing things, but we are doing our way. We don't even know whether I'm doing it rightly or wrongly.
So what
No
should
one
we
is
do?
observing. Go to Guru's ashram and stay there and serve Guru for some time.
And family will think they because of iskcon they went away.
Yeah, let them tell. You want to stay back with the family or go back home, back to God.
And family will stop sending people to iskcon if we do like
Yes.
this.
My family did not stop me. So
Your family
some
was
some
great.
some cases will be there, but this is process. You don't have to go and stay there forever. But what I'm trying to say is that we have to be in that zone of being observed because that's very helpful. On our own, it's very difficult to find out where am I going wrong. Very difficult. So this is the problem of staying at home and doing bhakti. That doesn't mean that we should not stay at home. We all can't move to temple. But what I'm trying to say is that we should have time out from our life where we are with people who will monitor us and tell us this is where you're getting wrong. This is how your chanting is not proper, or this is how you're not serving, doing the seva nicely, or this is how. So this thing is very helpful. It will help us make progress faster because once someone tells you the mistake, it saves a lot of time. Nah? Otherwise, you would realize that mistake maybe after 10 years. you know. And then that time you'll think, I wish someone told me this before. So that's how the process of how is to be learned, applied, and then we get the result. All right, let's go to the translation and proper we did. Let's go to the next verse. We did now 30, verse number 30, 31. यदा भूत पृथक भावम एकस्थम अनुपश्यति तत एव च विस्तारम ब्रह्म संपद्यते तदा. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies. So again, when you become Jnana Chakshu, then you don't see different identities, which means you don't so much become involved in the gross difference. Oh, man, woman, dog, cow. You definitely see those things, the body, but you don't get too much identified, or too much identified with only that existence of the person, the external existence, the physical existence. And he sees how beings are expanded everywhere. He attains to the Brahman conception. So that person sees that life of Brahman is more important principle than the external form. So you don't get so much carried away by the external features. Purport. Sharda Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. When one can see that the various bodies of the living entities arise due to different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. In the material conception of life, we find someone a demigod, someone a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to material conception of life. After the destruction of the material body, the spirit is one. The spirit, due to contact with material nature, gets different bodies, different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains the spiritual vision. Thus, being freed from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc., one becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How he then sees things will be explained in the next verse.
Yes. So, you see, this is philosophical perception of stuff or things. This is not the behavioral perception. In Sanskrit or Hindi, is called vyavaharik and you know shastrik. So what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to ordinary behavior or dealings, definitely you will see the difference. You will see a man as a man, a woman as a woman. So that's called behavioral perception. But when we talk about the understanding, then that understanding is very clear that this is not really a man or a woman, this is a spirit soul in a man body or a woman body. Mm. So this is called cultivation of jnana or knowledge, which doesn't mean that that person behaves in a weird manner with people because he has or she has this vision. No, this person is behaving in a normal way only, but the internal perception of things are not on material plane. So that is different. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramat paramatma sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body or Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So again, this is only applicable to those who are having the knowledge or eyes of knowledge. He can see like that.
Hare Krishna. A living entity appears to be born because of the birth of the material body, but actually the living entity is eternal. He is not born, and in spite of his being situated in a material body, he is transcendental and eternal. Thus, he cannot be destroyed. By nature, he is full of bliss. He does not engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. Hare Krishna.
Next. यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात् आकाशं नोपलिप्यते सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे तथात्मा नोपलिप्यते. So an analogy is being given by Krishna to explain that how the soul doesn't get entangled. The analogy of Akash, of all the material elements, the most subtle material element is Akash, isn't it? There's nothing as subtle as Akash. So therefore, the soul is compared to Akash, because soul is also subtle. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body. Which soul? Every soul? No. The soul which is situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Yes, read. Shweta Mataji, read the purport.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. The air enters into water, mud, stool, and whatever else is there. Still, it does not mix with anything. Similarly, the living entity, even though situated in variety of bodies, is aloof from them due to its subtle nature. Therefore, it is impossible to see with the material eyes how the living entity is in contact with this body and how he is out of it after the destruction of the body. No one in science can ascertain this. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. So this cannot be understood by mundane science. Correct? This is only possible by spiritual development. यथा प्रकाश्यत्येकः कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं प्रकाशयति भारत. The son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity. The sun is situated in one place, illuminating the whole universe. Similarly, the soul, that spiritual particle, is situated in only one place in the body, but it is giving energy to the entire body, consciousness. So does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. It's a very nice analogy. So, Prabhuji.
There are various theories regarding consciousness. Here in Bhagavad-Gita, the example of the sun and the sunshine is given. As the sun is situated in one place but is illuminating the whole universe, so a small particle of spirit soul, although situated in the heart of this body, is illuminating the whole body of consciousness. Thus, consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul. As sunshine or light is the proof of the presence of the sun, when the soul is present in the body, there is consciousness all over the body. And as soon as the soul has passed from the body, there is no more consciousness. This can be easily understood by any intelligent man. Therefore, consciousness is not a product of the combination of matter. It is the symptom of the living entity. The consciousness of the living entity, although qualitatively one with the supreme consciousness, is not supreme because the consciousness of one particular body does not share that of another body. But the super soul, which is situated in all bodies as the friend of the individual soul, is conscious of all bodies. That is the difference between supreme consciousness and individual consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. So that is the difference between supreme consciousness and individual consciousness.
Prabhu.
Let's do the last verse, then with the questions. क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage and material nature. So anyone who understands this knowledge can attain to the supreme goal. So one who understands all this explained here in this chapter, that person can come to the supreme goal by the path of jnana. So this is a path of jnana. Following this, one can come to supreme destination. Purport, Chanakya Prabhuji.
By His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The purport of this 13th chapter is that one should know the distinction between the body, the owner of the body, and the supersoul. One should recognize the process of liberation as described in verses 8 through 12. Then one can go to the supreme destination. A faithful person should at first have some good association to hear of God and thus gradually become enlightened. If one accepts a spiritual master, one can learn to distinguish between matter and spirit, and that becomes a stepping stone for further spiritual realization. A spiritual master, by various instructions, teaches his students to get free from the material concept of life. For instance, in Bhagavad-Gita, we find Krishna instructing Arjuna to free him from materialistic considerations. One can understand that this body is matter. It can be analyzed with its 24 elements. The body is the gross manifestation, and the subtle manifestation is the mind and psychological effects. And the symptoms of life are the interaction of these features. But over and above this, there is the soul, and there is also the super soul. The soul and the super soul are two. This material world is working by the conjunction of the soul and the 24 material elements. One who can see the constitution of the whole material manifestation as this combination of the soul and material elements, and also see the situation of the supreme soul, becomes eligible for transfer to the spiritual world. These things are meant for contemplation and for realization, and one should have a complete understanding of this chapter with the help of the spiritual master. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 13th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the matter of nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we ended this chapter. Any questions? You can ask now.
Prabhuji, may I?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, how we realize that we are going on higher consciousness? Like, I can understand this, like, animals have lower consciousness. They can feel everything, they can sense, but uh, but less pain. Human feels more. So is it like a higher consciousness means we feel things more, or but we are unaffected? Means I want to understand what this means.
Higher consciousness is not just about how you feel. It's a lot more than that. It's also about how you think, what you think, where is your thinking going. What it's not just about how you feel. If it's all about feeling, then it might be that you are a very sensitive person on material plane, and that's why you feel a lot or feel more. That doesn't really make you more conscious. Higher consciousness, what are you thinking about? If you say, okay, to feel more is higher consciousness, but what are you feeling about? If at the end I'm feeling about some material pain or pleasure, then how can I call it higher consciousness?
Like pure devotees bleed when they see sufferings of others. So
You
they are very
let's forget pure devotees now. We cannot understand pure devotees how they function. We cannot even imagine how they function. We cannot enter into their mind or their intellect because they are working in a different energy. Atmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashritaha. So they are functioning under a different energy. We are functioning under a different energy. So from our platform, we cannot understand how they are functioning. Right. So even if you see a pure devotee functioning in a way, you may be bluffed because you really don't see the way that person is functioning. You only see the way you see, isn't it? So that's why let's not go to that zone, how a pure devotee will function. Because how will you understand how he will function? The energy in which we are functioning is different, and the energy in which he is functioning is different. So at our level, what is higher consciousness? So where your mind gets entangled, what entangles you in the mind? That will decide what is the level of consciousness. So while chanting, what do we think about? Is our mind stuck to the holy name? So then, simple, how difficult it is to understand whether consciousness is higher or lower. So higher consciousness means what, the subject matter of your mind That is higher. That is Krishna or things related to Krishna, Krishna Seva. So if our consciousness is always involved in material things, material feelings, material desires, material happiness, material distress, then it's not higher consciousness. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Is there there is every chance that these material requirements will go in the end?
When?
Is there a chance or a possibility that these material uh, requirements or instances, whatever we can say, will go in the end of the life?
I'm not understanding your question, Guruji.
Material
What material instances or what will go in the end?
material requirements, we can say that these will
Which requirement?
material
Be
very
very specific.
uh, we cannot we can go list can be very big na material requirements.
Why it will be big? By the end of your life, it should be very small. By the end of the life, it should be very small, no? Your material requirement. By the end of life, how can it be big?
Children are there, grandchildren are there,
And
their
children are there,
requirements.
but what can you do about them? Now you're going to die. So
But
what will you do about them?
percentage of percentage might be less, but some percentage you can say, we can say that there is in our heart also that something will should be done or something should not be done.
So that is there because we are not really practicing devotional service nicely. If we are practicing devotional service nicely, then we'll come above all these things. Then you'll not worry so much about children and all that. Then you'll worry about how to make Krishna happy.
It means that there is a very chance that we can get rid of all these things in the end.
Chance is always there, Prabhuji, but then you have to put efforts also. And you have to get there also. Chance is there for everything.
Efforts.
Chance is there that tomorrow when you wake up, you become a pure devotee. That chance is also there. But then, you know, the potentiality of it
Scarcity of the effort.
depends on how you put efforts and what is the
Efforts.
intensity, how much mercy you collect, not just efforts. Mercy is also very important. What are you doing to get that mercy? It's very important, no? If you don't do anything and then we expect mercy, it's not going to come. Forget it. We have to do a lot to get mercy, which means you have to please Guru and Krishna. And pleasing them is you have to sacrifice for them. If you don't sacrifice for them, then you're not going to please them. Mercy doesn't come so cheaply. You have to give yourself. Only if you have given your life to the seva of Guru and Krishna, then there is a chance of going back and back to God. Otherwise, no. It's not that easy. So you have to give your life to their seva. That can be done by being anywhere. You can be in Grihastha ashram, you can be brahmachari, you living in the temple, outside temple. But you have to give your life to Guru and Krishna. That's called Atma Samarpan. If that Atma Samarpan is not done, then there's no chance of going back home, back to Godhead. How many ever rounds you may chant and whatever knowledge you may have, anything is that is not going to help because what will we do after going there? Worry about our friends and family. We'll do something there, no? So what will we do there? And how will we do there? Only when we have relationship with the personalities over there. So where will we develop that relationship? After going there? Of course not. That relationship has to be developed here. Then we can go there. So this is very much missing nowadays in our preaching, because you see, in order to expand iskcon, we are preaching in a very, very general manner. And what is that general manner? The general manner is be little dharmic. Whatever we are telling people, chant some names of Krishna, get up early in the morning, go to temple, you follow 4 principles, you study Shastra, you do some seva to Bhagavan. These things people did without being told 100 years ago, 50 years ago. They didn't
Correct,
have to come
Prabhuji.
to Bhakti-sastri class to know all these things.
Correct, Prabhuji.
So to do that is not sufficient to go back to Godhead. That is just to become a human being. Animal life to human life. So what we were living before was very much animal life, right? Then now we are living in some little bit like a human being, following some discipline, some tapasya we do, faith in Bhagavan, go to temple, do this and that. But that is not sufficient to go back to God. This is just dharma in one sense, which we should be doing as a human being. So pure Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service means Krishna is your life, Krishna is your world, people associated with Krishna is your family. So like you are saying, will I not worry about my kids if I'm old? So you should ask your question, are you similarly worrying about the mission of Srila Prabhupada? Why then worrying about kids? Are the kids more important to you than Srila Prabhupada? Who is your more, which relationship is more important relationship? My relationship with Srila Prabhupada or my relationship with my kids? So,
One relationship is spiritual, and the spiritual is materialistic.
correct.
But thing
And
is
then
that,
second thing is which relationship will make me evolve? My
involve,
relationship with my kids will only make me degraded because it is
yeah,
going downward, it is going downwards. And my relationship with spiritual personalities will upgrade me. So our attachment in heart should be with those who are higher to us, not with those who are lower to us. So in heart, we should be attached to Guru, Krishna, Vaishnavas. And those who are lower to us, which means they are dependent on us, we should sometimes give them a merciful glance because they are dependent on. But if you start worrying so much about those who are dependent on you, and you forget to meditate on those who are higher to you, then you are getting degraded. And this is the problem with modern uh, human civilization. They don't know where the attachment should be put. You see, earlier in Vedic society, people, if they did not have attachment towards Guru, at least they had attachment towards their parents. But now in modern society, even that aspect is getting destroyed. People are more attached to their kids than to their parents. But in the past, this was not the principle. The principle was be more attached to your parents than to be attached to your own kids.
percentage might be more or less, but Prabhuji, attachment is there.
You're not understanding the concept, so I can't explain to you. Yeah, attachment is there, but what I'm trying to explain is how times have changed and how we have become,
No, time has changed definitely.
how we have gone away from the right way of living. Now attachment is going in the wrong direction. Earlier, the attachment was not like that. So therefore, we don't understand these things, and it's becoming so difficult for us.
Yeah, okay. Now, Prabhu, you meant to say attachment to girlfriend, boyfriend people are having and in wrong direction. So, I'm understanding. Like instead attachment to parents, Guru and Krishna, we are going in degraded direction.
Yeah, of course. Because who has done more for you? Think about it now. You're so attached to your husband or wife, and you forget the parents. You're so attached to your kids, and you forget those who did so much for you. That means what? The attachment is going in the wrong direction. You know, people will take care of their kids very nicely, send them to expensive schools, and then send the parents to old age home.
Examples are there.
Right or not? Isn't it? So, which
Most of
means where is
them.
the attachment? Attachment is where? With the kids, but not with the parents. But who gave birth to you? So it's misplaced, no? It's misplaced attachment. And that leads to inauspiciousness in life. When you become wrongly attached, that brings inauspiciousness to life. We should always be attached to those who are superior to us in consciousness. And to those who are lower in consciousness, we should not become attached. We should only see it as a duty, which means you are doing it as a matter of duty, but your heart is not there. Your heart is placed in the feet of those who are superior to you. That should be their idea. So this was earlier, it passed down generation by generation in people through good sanskars, but now those sanskars are not there, and education is not there. So people's attachment is wrongly placed. I mean, so much of unnecessary anxiety about others, but we are not taking anxiety for Guru and Krishna. So where is the love then? If you love someone, then there should be anxiety. But Prabhupada had that anxiety. My Guru Maharaj gave me this order, preach Krishna consciousness to Western people. So he took anxiety. That anxiety shows that he loved his spiritual master, no? Then Srila Prabhupada disciples, they took so much of anxiety to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. So that is called love. How much anxiety are we taking for Krishna? We are not taking any anxiety for Krishna. We are going to Krishna and telling Krishna, Krishna, you take some of my anxiety. Do we ever sit to think about it? Like, I'm always thinking about my problems. Am I thinking sometimes about the problems in Prabhupada's movement? How can I be a part to the solution? What can I do for Srila Prabhupada? He did so much for me. What am I doing in return? So where is love then? Where is love? We may have sleepless nights because my son is sick, my wife is in problem, I'm in problem. But do we sometimes have sleepless nights thinking about what will happen to Srila Prabhupada's movement? What will happen to Krishna consciousness? So where is love then? So
Prabhuji,
if you have love for those who are attached to you materially, then where will you go? What will be the destination?
Material only.
Oh, material only. Then you go back to them, you come back to them. But if your attachment is to those who are spiritual, then you go there now.
Prabhuji, why it is wrong to be attached to your husband or wife or to your
Because it's a
kids?
material relationship. If you can see that person as Krishna's part and parcel, then your attachment is correct. Otherwise, your attachment is material, temporary.
But in Grihastha ashram, it will happen.
It will help them only if they see the other person as part and parcel of Krishna. Otherwise, you are not in Grihastha ashram, then you are Griha Medhi. Right? Then you are Griha Medhi, na? Griha Medhi means attached to material things. So how will it help? It will only help to give you another material birth. That will be the help. So we have to become attached to right place. And that's what we are not learning. And that's why so much problem in our spiritual life. Too much get worried about my material problems. But take out some time to think about how can I do seva to Guru, to Krishna? What can I do for them? Always thinking about myself, 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 my life, my problems, my family, my business, my happiness. But what about happily, heartfully doing something for others? It's very important. If you don't do that, your spiritual life is not much developed. Krishna consciousness is not much developed. Sacrifice has to be there. It's very, very important. Very important. There is no love without sacrifice. So if you, it's very easy to say I love Krishna, but what is our sacrifice for Krishna? Very easy to say I love Prabhupada. What is the sacrifice for Prabhupada? I gave up onion and garlic. Is that a sacrifice for Prabhupada? That is for me. I am becoming a human being from an animal. Right? If I'm chanting 16 rounds, is that a sacrifice for Prabhupada? No, that is for me, so that I become a human being. So what is our sacrifice to Prabhupada? Even the Lakshmi which we donate as seva, we don't donate it in this bhav that this is my contribution to Prabhupada's movement for preaching. We think if I do this donation, it will give me some benefit, some spiritual benefit I'll get. Even that we do with, this return mentality. If I do this, then I'll get some Krishna Kripa, which means we are always looking for some return, maybe material or spiritual. But you have to come out of that mentality, that I want something in return. The mentality should be Krishna has given me so much already. Prabhupada has given me already so much. Guru Maharaj has already given me so much. This iskcon society has already given me so much. So now what can I do in return without wanting anything in return?
Prabhu, just to please them, if you do.
Yeah, just to please them. Just to please them, that from my heart of gratitude, I am trying to do this or I want to do this. Not because I want something in return. So this is very important. And until unless this attitude comes, we are not really making any progress in Krishna consciousness. We are stuck in dharma. Dharma will give us two things then, or three things. It will give us artha, material prosperity. It will give us kama, fulfillment of material desire. And at the end, it will give us moksha, but it will not give us prema. Prema will not come. Moksha can come, but prem will not get. So for prem to come, we have to approach in the right manner. Then prem can come. That's why this sacrificing element is very, very important. Now, different people have different capacity to sacrifice. That is true. Not everyone can sacrifice at the same level. But the spirit of sacrifice should be there. If it is missing, then we have not yet started the journey actually. So the first thing to be able to sacrifice for others is you stop thinking too much about yourself, my happiness, my sadness, my problems, my anxiety. my troubles. Yeah, we should have space for it, but we should not be always absorbed in it. We should take out some time. Even in this miserable situation or state, what can I do for Krishna? What can I do for Prabhupada? What can I do for Guru Maharaj? What can I do for Vaishnavas? And that is actually a Vaishnava, no? You look at the life of Vaishnavas. How do they live? They don't live for themselves. They don't live for themselves. So we have to practice all that very much in life. Then the goal can be achieved. So this all preaching is not done in iskcon much because people are not really interested. First of all, they don't want to be very deeply involved. They just want to be superficially involved. Some dharma they want to do. It's nice, but at some point we should also learn all these things that it's very important if we really want to go back to God. Otherwise, no problem. Then everything is okay. Okay, Eka Prema Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just want to ask if we have anxiety or worry that our children should become Krishna consciousness, and at least we should put them on a right path towards Krishna consciousness. So how do we say that? Matlab, what in what category does that anxiety?
You see, just this way you cannot really judge Mataji.
Okay.
It's not wrong to have anxieties. But the whole point which I'm trying to make here is what is occupying your mind always? If it's always about me, my family, my kids, it's all about me, then even if you are thinking in spiritual manner, at the end, it's all about whom?
Okay.
So earlier, I was worried about the material benefit. Now I'm worried about the spiritual benefit. But it's about whom? So there's nothing wrong in it. But we have to expand that that boundary, the scope of our thinking.
Okay. Right.
Otherwise, it is coming down to only that boundary, which is again, you're not really understood Krishna consciousness. So if someone says I have so much of anxiety for my kids, the person should ask question: do I also take anxiety for Prabhupada? Why Prabhupada is not related to me? Only my kids are related to me. Only my kids are important to me. Srila Prabhupada is not important to me. Or am I only responsible for my kids? Am I not responsible towards Srila Prabhupada? I am, right? So
Right.
if I am responsible, if I am taking anxiety for my kids, then should I not also take anxiety for Srila Prabhupada?
Yes, we should.
So if that is not happening, then we should know that my anxiety is only materially driven.
Mm.
In true sense, please try to understand. Shastra says that you get a husband, you get a wife, you get parents, you get kids in all the lives. Correct?
Yes.
But you get guru or pure devotee sangha?
Day in human.
No, in some very, very, very rare life. Not that not that in every human birth you got a guru, or in every human birth you got a pure devotee association. But all the other material relationships which we value so much, that we get in every life. As a dog also we get, as a cat also we get, as a mosquito also we get, as a pig also we get. Isn't it?
Yes.
But this relationship which we are getting in this life with Guru, with Acharya, with Parampara, with pure devotees, this is rarely obtained in some human form of life. So which one should I value more? Where should I put my heart? Where should be my anxiety, my emotions, my feelings?
Definitely towards Guru and
Right?
yes,
So
that
if
is
let's say you are spending 4 hours in anxiety for Prabhupada, then if you spend 4 minutes in anxiety for kids, it's okay,
okay.
right? Then it's okay, allowed. But let's say if I'm spending 4 hours anxiety for kids and then not even 1 minute anxiety for Srila Prabhupada, wrongly placed attachment,
Understood, Guru.
right? So there's nothing wrong with taking care of our dependents, but our attachment should be rightly placed. That's very, very important. We should place an attachment in the right place. Then we'll be actually able to take good care of our dependents.
Right.
This we should know. If you are more attached to Guru and Krishna, you'll be better parent. Not that you'll be a less better parent, because you'll actually know how to guide them or deal with them or what is good for them.
Very true. Thank you.
So this attachment should be in the right place. Otherwise, it's not proper. It's gone. Because we have to understand. Like I always think in this way. Srila Prabhupada had strong attachment towards his Guru Maharaj. So then Srila Prabhupada was not dealing properly or behaving properly or treating his disciples properly.
Was.
No, we know that he was able to give them so much love, which they never experienced anywhere else. So, what was the reason of that love? Because Prabhupada had so much love for his Guru, his love was properly placed, his attachment was in the right place. And because his attachment was in the right place, so when it came for him to shower love, he could shower love so nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have attachment, love all placed in the right place, it empowers us actually. It empowers us to do our duties properly, to do our duties nicely. You know, it doesn't make you irresponsible or anything like that. In fact, you become more empowered, you become more qualified. So we should have this understanding. Our attachment should be in the right place. Very important. Not to put it in the wrong place. It should be in the right place. So in Vedic society, I'll just end with this. In Vedic society, this is how it was. That the husband in the family will have attachment towards Guru. The Guru may be parents, the Guru may be spiritual master, the Guru may be elders, but the husband will not have that attachment towards the wife. Yes, will have attachment towards wife, but not more than he has towards Guru or elders, you know. And then the wife will have, just like the husband has attachment towards Guru, the wife will have that kind of attachment towards husband, but not
Yes.
towards the kids.
Mm.
And the kids will have that kind of attachment towards mother and father, which they have towards their Guru. So this kind of attachment, here also there is attachment. No one is devoid of attachment. This attachment is rightly placed. It's placed properly. But if you change the hierarchy, you just make it, upside down. Then there is degradation.
And the kids also, they will also follow us if we don't respect.
Yeah, if you don't respect, it is actually seen. If you don't respect your parents, your kids will not respect you.
Yes.
If the wife does not treat the husband properly, then the kids will also not behave properly in future when they get married.
Thank you, Ruji, for such a beautiful explanation.
This will happen. If you don't worship or respect your guru, your kids will also not get the sanskar to worship or respect the guru.
Mm. Right.
You know. So we learned all that. That's why it is so easy for us to understand. When I was a school going kid, I remember I was studying in a Catholic school. So we had sisters, fathers, Christian Catholic schools.
Yes, Ruji.
So my father also studied in a Catholic school. So my father, he was a student of a sister in his college days, and that later that sister she got transferred to the school in which I was studying, coincidentally. You know, so when that sister would visit our house, she's just a mundane material teacher. She's not that she's a guru or anything like that. She's just our material teacher. But because she is a sister, which means she is also in some way spiritual, because they also they live a life of renunciation and all that. So when she would come home, our entire family would go to greet her. Whole family, they will stop doing whatever they're doing, and they'll just go to meet her, you know to sit there and listen to her. And if any kid is going away from there, then the parent in the house will tell, no, you should sit and listen, because a respectable person has come to our house.
Mm.
So they showed us that we should have so much respect for a material teacher also. That when the teacher has come home, immediately go to the kitchen, get water, get a cup of tea, you know, stand there. Not that you sit on the sofa, because you stand there. You're not allowed to sit on the sofa. Those who are elderly, they should sit on the sofa. So we saw all that. So when we read, okay, we should be respectful towards Guru Maharaj, you know, very easily it makes sense. Okay, what it means. How much respect? What does respect mean? Because
Yes.
we have seen that culture, no?
Yes.
But nowadays it's so, shocking. Sometimes when you go to home, to devotee's house, the devotees don't even tell their kids that Vaishnavas have come home, go and pay pranams. The devotee might be just sitting in his room, doing something on laptop, that kid, or watching television, or doing something. No, but Vaishnavas are not telling their kids about these sanskars. And my father was not a Vaishnava. He's still not a Vaishnava, But those etiquettes were taught, that you should be respectful towards teacher, you should be respectful towards an elderly person, this, that. The point I'm trying to say is sanskars, they get transferred in this way very easily. Then you don't have to
Right, Prabhuji.
explain so much. It's very easily it gets transferred.
Yes.
It's very important. These things are very important. That's a bhakti is a very interesting subject. You can't understand it in theory. You have to live it. You have to get experience of it. Then you can understand. Otherwise, you can't understand it by theory. You have to experience it. So these things are missing nowadays, very much missing, very much missing. What to do? Chanakya Prabhuji, what's your question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I don't know how to ask this question, but I hope you can understand from what I I'm able to communicate to you. It's related to the shloka 1331, Prabhuji, about material vision, spiritual vision. We all understand the material vision, how we see a dog, animal, human, that, this, and everybody, and we have a material vision. Similarly, Prabhupada says that there is spiritual. We theoretically all of us understand, right? At least in this group, everybody understands about the spirit, soul, and theoretically we understand that that is the spiritual vision we have. We should have at the end of the day, at the end of our life, the body is just gone. We are spirit, souls, and all that. But Prabhupada here says that, right, when one can see this, he attains spiritual vision, thus being freed from differentiation like man, animal, big, low, etc. And one becomes purified in his consciousness and is able to develop Krishna consciousness. The doubt I have is like suppose there's a fruit or something, and then there is a worm in it, right? Materially, we see a worm. We don't eat that fruit. We throw it, both the fruit as well as the worm and all that, right? And obviously, since we ourselves don't take it, obviously, when we see that material, we don't offer it to Lord or Guru or anybody else also. Materially, we're saying, but we are being told, right? What you're saying is we have to see the same. So how, when, and how we distinguish between the spiritual vision, material vision, and I hope I'm able to convey my point, Prabhuji.
So I'll tell you something very simple. What is spiritual vision, you cannot understand now.
Yeah.
So stop thinking about it.
Okay.
Right? You can't understand how it will be. Because to be able to understand that, you have to experience it.
Yeah, that's what you're telling. Experience it, practice it.
And you can't experience it until unless you get there.
Yeah.
And you can't get there by thinking like this.
Okay.
Right? You can get there only by doing what we have to do in the right manner. Right? So you can't, just like an ant, can an ant experience the world the way a human being experiences? Even if you explain to the ant, give a 60-hour course to the ant, sit down, I'll explain to you. This is how you see. I see, now you also see it this way. Can the ant see it? No, because the ant's vision is limited. By what? By the body, by the mind, by the senses it has. Correct? Similarly, we are functioning on a totally different plane. And a person who is spiritually evolved, he functions on a totally different plane. Our senses function in a different manner, his senses function in a different manner. So how will we see the way he sees? We cannot see, we cannot even understand. It's not possible. Now, if you really want to know how he sees, you have to become like him. Which means become spiritually evolved like him. Otherwise, you can only imagine, nothing more than that. And that imagination is going to be 100% wrong.
Wrong.
Why? Because imagination is based on what we experience.
Experience, yeah.
It's nothing out of experience. Whatever you imagine is all within your experience. That's how you imagine. Correct? Isn't it? So then it's going to be wrong. That's why to be able to experience it, you can only do that when you get there. And you can only get there if you follow the process. If you don't follow the process and you just try to understand how it is, you will never understand. Just like the ant can never understand how does a human being see.
Okay, bro. So
This we can never understand. We have to follow the process. When we follow the process, then our vision becomes clearer. There's a cloud of ignorance on our consciousness. So that cloud starts going away. And when that cloud starts going away, then those things become more sensible to you. You can see it actually, you can experience it actually. But that will take time, that will take efforts, that will take commitment to the process.
Okay,
So
Prabhu.
this is where most people get stuck. Why? Because most people in this world, they say, first show it to me, then I'll believe it. In spiritual life is first you believe it, do it, and then you will see it. But because of our material background, we say, no, first show, then I'll believe, then I'll do, you know, and then I'll get it. But what's wrong with that mentality? Krishna will say, I'm not in need of you, you are in need of me. So first of all, you believe, then I'll show. You're understanding, you know. So when I say no, first show, then this is called challenging attitude, right? So this challenging attitude cannot be done by someone who's in an inferior position. So Bhagavan will say, first you believe, first you have faith. And then if you have faith and you do what I'm asking you to do, then I'll show you. So this requires little surrender, this requires little, you know, that's where most people fail because no, first I want to say it. I don't know whether it's true or not. I don't have faith. I doubt it. So we studied in Bhagavad-Gita already, right? Krishna says, Sanshaya Atma Vinashyati. For the doubting soul, there is no success.
Okay,
So this
Prabhu.
is something which we have to overcome.
Yeah.
This is very
So
important.
one is the experiencing part, and one has to evolve and get there. But at least from a theoretical standpoint, like how we are learning all these things theoretically, is there a theoretical answer as to how a spiritually advanced or pure devotee would react or do? There's no answer for that.
You will never know.
Okay.
You will never know.
Okay. Okay.
You will never know. Because pure devotees are independent. They function the way Krishna wants. So if I am conditioned, so how will I understand what Krishna wants?
Uh, Sorry, Prabhu.
Just
Uh,
a second, I have not completed, Shweta Mataji. So, like for example, I'm explaining a scenario to you. Let's say, uh, let's say you are a pujari in the temple. Okay? And then in the temple, it has been decided on Monday you should put white cloth on Krishna, white dress. On Tuesday you should put yellow. On Wednesday you should put green. Right? And this rule has been given to you by Srila Prabhupada. Monday you dress Krishna in this color, Tuesday. So you go to the puja room uh, after Mangalarti gets over, which is let's say by 5:15 a.m. Mangalarti is over, the door is closed. Now you get into the altar and you bring white dress, white jewelry, everything, and you start dressing Krishna in white. And suddenly then Prabhupada sends a devotee to you and says, no, not white, purple, put purple dress. Then you will say, but Prabhupada, you made the rule, Monday white. And I already spent 15 minutes dressing Krishna. If you wanted purple, you should have told me yesterday. This is how we will think, no? Because we have conditioned intelligence, right? But you don't know that Krishna told Prabhupada, I don't want white dress today, I want purple. This, how will you understand? Because this is going between him and Krishna. So pure devotees, they function in that way. They're every moment connected to Krishna. Just like we are connected to a person, you know. So you go to the kitchen, you are making a lemon juice, and suddenly the person says, no, today I'm not interested in lemon juice. Give me orange juice. So like that, Krishna interacts with pure devotees. So how will you understand? You will not understand, right? That's why scripture says that Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bujai. Even if you are a very learned person, you cannot understand the activities of a Vaishnava, especially pure Vaishnavas, because they are functioning on a total different plane, completely different plane. So the only thing which can help us is yes, yes, yes. I understand it, yes. I don't understand it, still yes. Only that thing can help. But the point where we start using our intelligence, the problem will start because my intelligence is incomplete.
I wanted to share instruction of my Guru Maharaj related to this. So I
Share.
hope. Actually, I went to Mayapur
Don't tell
and
me incident, you share the instruction.
just a little related to what Prabhu said and you said. Very for 2 minutes, 1 minute I will take. So I said to Guru Maharaj, I am not able to understand you. Earlier you were different, now you are different. So Guru Maharaj said, nobody can understand pure devotee. I said, then what should I do? I don't know. So then he said, just follow. Just follow. Nothing else. You can't understand pure devotee.
Very true. We cannot understand, so we should follow. Because our intelligence is very limited. And not just pure devotee, you should know one thing. If you are in an inferior position, you cannot understand a person who's in a superior position. Why? Because your intelligence is small. So it is a general principle. A child cannot always understand parents' instructions because the parents they see with a bigger intelligence and the child sees with a smaller intelligence. You know? So a small person can never understand always a person who is bigger in intelligence and consciousness. Why? Because the vision is limited, experience is limited. So in any relationship, if you are in a lower position, we all have relationships like that, right? Where you are either in a higher position or in an equal position or in a lower position. So in any relationship, if you are in a lower position, don't try to understand the activities or behavior of someone in a higher position. Ask, you behaved in this way, why? Don't speculate. Because if that person is in a higher position, that person has a higher intelligence. And I have a lower intelligence. I have less experience. So that person may sometimes behave in one manner. In another situation, that person may behave in another manner. But because that person has better experience, so that person knows this is how we should behave in this situation. And we have small intelligence, so we always question, no, no, you behave like this in the past. Now you're behaving like that. Because our intelligence is small. Our experience is small. Understanding. You know? So this is very important. So this is called faith. Like, let's say, Srila Prabhupada told his disciples, you should not eat um, too much of sweet. This is given by Prabhupada in his books now. Don't eat too much sweet. Don't overeat. Don't eat delicious, palatable items. Right? But once Srila Prabhupada, he took a group of his disciples to a devotee's house in Mumbai. That person was a very close well-wisher of iskcon, doing a lot of seva in the construction of Radha Raspberry temple, protecting that property. So Prabhupada took entire group of devotees for prasadam. So Giriraj Maharaj also went there. He was a brahmachari at that time. So this devotee, he was very nicely serving. In India, people serve with so much of enthusiasm. Eat this also, take double, take three times, like they do like that. So this devotee was serving everyone. So he was coming again and again to Giriraj Maharaj and giving him an extra sweet. So Maharaj thought, I'm a brahmachari. Prabhupada said, no, I should not eat so much. And he was sitting next to Prabhupada. So when you're sitting next to spiritual master, then you want to show that I'm sense control. I'm not overeating, right? If you're sitting somewhere behind and no one is watching you, then you may gulp down some rasgullas, extra rasgullas. But if you're sitting next to spiritual master, then you have to be very careful. So you're sitting just next to Prabhupada. So that elderly person was coming again and giving him extra gulab jamun or rasgulla, something like that. And he was saying, no. So then Prabhupada said, take it, you know. Now at that moment you can't say no, but Prabhupada, you said sense control, more important. Yes, it is important, but at that time when Prabhupada is saying take it, he's saying it in a different context, for a different reason. So I may not understand it, but he understands it. So this is how we should have faith. It's very important. That's very important. So the guru knows better than me. That is called Shraddha. And this is, therefore, we don't really want to understand our guru. We don't want to understand Krishna. We just want to do what they are asking us to do. That is faith. That gives success. Otherwise, Brahma can also not understand Krishna. Brahma is made up of intelligence. We are made up of Panch Mahabhut. Brahma is made up of intelligence. His body is made up of intelligence. But he could not understand Krishna. He thought, this is not Bhagavan. He doesn't know how to eat. He cannot be Bhagavan. Krishna was eating from the left hand. So Brahma thought, how can he eat from the left hand? He is not Bhagavan. He doesn't know the etiquette. He used his intelligence. And then Krishna showed him, Acha, you want to use your intelligence. Let me show you my intelligence. So this is very important. All right, we stop here. Thank you for the discussion. See you tomorrow, chapter 14.